Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Railway Embankment. It's been a few days since I got some videos up, but sure, you have been working. It's just when you make the videos, it's kind of strange because you got to get everything to a certain point, catch everything up to that point, then you need to stagger your steps so that you have stuff to show the people that are watching the video. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. I've been working like a madman trying to get it all organized and set out. So I think I left off last time, trying to remember where I was. I think I was just putting down the track valves. I was showing you how to slide the tracks on and off with the toothpicks and sort of pegging them up. I've progressed a lot further than that. I have got all the ballast done, and I have some grass down and some finished sections done, and I have the road laid down on this side, and so I'm going to show you all that right now. Just sort of catch you up. I will try to cover as much technique as I can in terms of just explanation. So here's the bridge. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there it is. Like I said, it was a road bridge, so what I did is I did the ballast across with the track and matched it up on the ends as best I could. There was gaps between my foam and the bridge, so what I did is I took a piece of balsa wood and just cut it across and just sort of extended the bridge slightly. So you can't tell when you look at the top that it's extended any, except for that the sidewalk sort of drops off. But once that's painted and I have grass running up on there, the transition will be fine. So that's where it is. It turned out pretty good actually. I'm pretty happy with it. So I will do some tufts on that just to sort of tie in some green. But that's been done. That's placed between the expanses. Like I said, when you're making it and you have so many scenes, you're not going to be able to hide them all. You do the best you can with what you work with. The grass is really going to help because it kind of can go over the edges and sort of tie in together. The ballast itself doesn't work that way. So what I try to do is put some ballast in and then down over the edge, like I said. Just cover it, but at the same time you got to make sure that it still creates not a bigger gap, but sort of hides the gap. So that's where I was at. What I did is, because I have some huge expanses of grass over here, I had to use grass mat. I used a 7 mil high grass mat, and I didn't use tufts. I will use tufts eventually, and in certain spots, but it would be ridiculous to try to cover as much area as I need to with tufts. So what I did is I cut large patches of grass mat. Now it looks a little strange. I know there's some sharp edges, and it's going to be very low to very high transitions. And it does create a little bit of a problem, and you have to build up your surrounding area to ease the transitions. A great way to do that, put your shrubbery in at the edges. Put some rocks in at the edges. Another way to do it too is use bordering like rock walls or use fences. The bottom line is the grass is going to be higher than your grass that's on your flats. No question about it, but that happens. I was driving on the road today, I saw some areas, some was cut, some was not. Try to make up a story so it works. For instance, shrubs along this edge right here would be great because it will create that sort of two-layered approach. Build up your grass and have it run onto your grass mat too. Don't cover your whole grass mat, but do a light dusting and sort of tie in and blend the areas as best you can. I'll show you kind of what a finished product looks like. So this right here looks terrible, I know. I'll show you what you can do with it as you work on it, and it takes some steps. And even the customer for this was a little worried in the transition photos, the work in progress shots, asking questions about it. I just assured him, stick with me on this, see what it looks like in the end. If you don't like it, I'll take it apart and redo it. So I will show you what it kind of looks like in the end. There's that stone wall on the other side. I think I showed what the final product looked like, but there it is anyways. And on the track, I changed it a little bit. What I did is had the two-tone, the sort of the tan and the gray stone. What I did is, remember, I think I mentioned this before, I did the brown on the edge. That's where my grass is going to come up. Find it kind of where it's still soil, but the grass is sort of worn away. So I did that not on top of it, but to it, and it sort of blended in. So it did cut down the edge of this a little bit. It's not as wide, but I think the effect's still there. You can definitely still tell that the line's there, and it gives it a little more jagged. So I think overall that turned out pretty well. So don't worry about these. They look stupid, I know. They're odd shapes, but I didn't want to cover everything with grass mat because that would look just as equally as dumb in my opinion. But that's what I did. Cut huge shapes, no rhyme or reason to how they worked. I like to go with the contours of the landscape, so that's kind of what I did. There's a side profile if that works or not, but that's what I have. So I have lots of sections of those done. That's kind of where I was at. Take that out. There you go. So yeah, just along the tracks, along the edge, along here, down along the bottom, sort of deal. I will take this out, just show you one more of these. So just the down as it's layering down. Trees would be another good thing too. Build them up from the bottom to the top of the track. That again will show a lot of depth. So trees on there is probably what I'll end up doing. A lot of shrubs down the edges too. It's going to be a lot of shrubs on it, just simply because it's not going to be a flat land. It's not going to be groomed. There's going to be no reason to grow anything on this. So it's just going to be kind of wild and bushy, and that'll be another great thing to hide all these edges with and to create a lot of depth. So that's that. I don't want to get to the final product yet. I'm saving that for a minute. Somebody commented about the rock wall saying, or the modeling clay turning out pretty awesome. I think it did really well actually. I'm not sure how clear that is, but yeah, it did turn out pretty wicked, and I think I'll be using that method a few more times before I move on to something else, that's for sure. Again, there's the track with the brown soil. Most of this brown will be covered. There'll be a very small percentage of that showing. So it looks like quite wide now, but it will mostly be covered. I just wanted to have the transition area wide enough so if I did want to have any grass sort of burnished away and showing soil, I had the area. It's a lot easier to put it in now than versus on top of the grass. So again, large patches, leaving it. This is a flat section right here. This is actually going to have some sort of rock sort of outcrop. I think I might actually do it with bark chips. I'll show you how to do that later. Maybe some people have already done it or seen that. Now, sort of leading you up to the final product, here is my grass. I don't know how close you can see it. It's very wild, dense, depthy, and sorry, not depthy, but has depth. And it's just got lots of different things going on, some twiggy sort of bushes and all kinds of strange. I do a mix. I'll do it really quick. I'll say what the mix is. It is olive grass, dark green. It is super turf, the two-tone stuff. It has super turf, sort of not really spongy stuff. It's that stuff, super turf. It's medium and light. I also have light static grass, and I have a two-tone meadow static grass in there. So I think it's like 7 or 8 components mixed all together, and then I put it down. And then what I do is I take individual parts, individual colors, and then highlight different sections. So a nice big matte mix. I do 75-25 water PVA glue down, Wellbond, this stuff. Stick that down, throw it all on top. Let it dry. Not 100% dry, but let it dry some. Tap off all the excess, come back in with a watered down, like a really watered down glue, and just paste all over everything. What it does is it basically makes a mat of grass at the bottom. I don't care how flat or how gross it looks, it gives me my base. I come back over with a light sprinkle layer, and then what I do is I start tapping that off. I use a balloon for the static. I don't have a grass master. I just can't justify getting one because I think I can do just as good a job, and it gets into the areas that I want to. So I use a balloon for static pictures. You can do all kinds of things. You can tip it over, tap, tap, tap. That works as well. Several layers of that. Build up in between. Fluff up your areas. You can use whatever. You can use a sealer or hairspray works great. I use it. It's flammable. Don't set fire to your products. Don't know why you'd have flame around it, but don't bring fire around your items and you won't have a problem with blowing things up. But hairspray works great, builds depth, especially on top of this static grass that's just standing up. So, and like I said, don't cover it all, just cover areas and sort of lightly sprinkle in dust. And just keep doing it until you got nice blends and mixes, and that's what you'll end up with here. And then I will move on to the sort of the ta-da moment. My ta-da moment, I don't know if you'll like it or not, but here we go.